Buongiorno, buonasera, benvenuti amici, welcome my friends. My name is Vincenzo and welcome to my channel, Fountain Pen Therapy. I have a Chinese pen to review for you today, folks. It's a Wing Sung 630, so we're revisiting this pen. I know the pen has come out in its original form some time ago, but most recently they came out with this kind of a demo model with a transparent barrel, which I thought was interesting, and I thought it would be more than appropriate for me to review this pen. I've also chosen to purchase the flat top model because the 630 does come in the classic cigar-shaped model or this flat top, and I figured I'd do the flat top. It's got an interesting finial. I think it is a really interesting pen, and I'm going to make the argument that it rivals some of the Pilot Custom Series pens. Let's see if I'm right, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm exaggerating, or maybe I'm just hoping. Stay tuned. Okay, so we're back with the pen. Now, first thing to note is that the pen comes with just a very simple box. I think it's just meant to really protect it for the transport. It is wrapped in bubble wrap. Inside there are instructions on how to operate the piston filling system. It came with this little, I guess it's a little reservoir in the shape of a cheap converter, and I think it has some gel or some grease to grease your piston filler. So that's a nice touch. And then I got this thing. Didn't know what it was at the outset, but I think I seen it sold on AliExpress. What I think this is a kind of a shim to fine-tune your nibs instead of that brass shimming or some tools that we use. I try to use it in one of my pens. It's a little thick, but it could come in, handy. So I thought that was a nice touch. They just added that in. First time I've seen that from AliExpress. As to the pen, here's the pen. I got to tell you, folks, I am just in love with this pen. I think I mentioned in my weekly recap for March 23rd that I'm going to order the other two models, the black demo and the blue. Maybe one of the three will be the cigar-shaped and the other one flat top. I really like this flat top because of this nice finial. Take a look at that finial. I think it's really, really nice touch. It's embossed and it's 3D-ish. It's got some texture to it. As far as the clip is concerned, very stiff, but I think functional. Not the best quality, but it's functional. Keep in mind that this is a $40 pen, right, folks? Now, the inscription you see there is, and they keep switching between Wing Sung and Jun Lai. I guess it's the same thing, and they do warn you that it's going to be random. Sometimes you'll get a pen with a Wing Sung engraved on it, and some other times you'll get a Yun Lai. This time I've got a Yun Lai 630 made in China. Okay, so that's the outer trimmings. I think are very, very nice. It is a piston filler. I've already inked it, so I don't want to maneuver the piston just because I'm going to make a mess. What I did notice is there was a little bit of tight. It's a little tight here. I guess the screwing mechanism is not smooth as one would expect, or as usually. I've never really had that problem. Here is the nib. Now, the nib is beautiful. It's a Wing Sung, well, maybe not in the looks, in terms of how it writes. I think the inscription and the embossing on this Nib could be a little bit better. It almost seems like it's all scratched. I can hardly see the Wing Sung branding on it. But, you know, it's, again, it certainly isn't as pretty as the you know, the Mont Blanc and the Sailors and the Pilots and all the Grail pens that we know of. But that nib really, really writes very nice. So there you have the nib. That's the piston filler. It's filled now, so I can't really operate it, but it worked really smoothly when I used it. In terms of feel, absolutely very, very nice, comfortable, well balanced. I like this section. It's nice and big. I think it's almost 12 millimeters. Very, very nice for me anyway. I really appreciate a big pen. The threading here is very, very smooth. There's hardly any step down. So if you're high gripper, you're fine. If you're a low gripper, you're fine. Does it post? Yes, it posts comfortably. Does it backweight the pen? Slightly, but not too much. It's still fairly light. I would say to you, still very comfortable posting. So it does post. Now, does it turn the knob? I don't think so, but there's a little bit, it's tight. There's something in there that makes everything tighter, and I'm just wondering whether with time that could cause you know, the threading to deteriorate. Let me just see with my flashlight whether or not we can see anything of interest in there. There is a kind of a lip there, so for the sealing, which is a nice touch. And then you see the screw further down for the cap and maybe the finial. Is there any air there that gets in and dries this nib? I'm not sure, but I can tell you, I've had it inked for a couple of days, and I've used it for a couple of days, and I just saw no problem whatsoever. So there you have the pen, in and out. Oh, we didn't mention how many turns. One turn. Incredible. At $40, folks. I really, really like this pen. That's why I decided to review it. It is a 630 revisited, but it's got so many new features that I figured this flat top demo model was worth a while reviewing. And so let's look at some comparisons, and then we'll do put up a measurement table. And I'm really looking forward to the writing sample, and maybe we'll do some comparison with some Pilot, with the Pilot A23, and see what that gives. Okay, so stay tuned. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're back with the size and pen comparison. I've chosen quite a beautiful pens here, I got to tell you. Here's the subject pen, the 630 flat top demo. This is the 630 original model, you know, with plastic or resin or acrylic barrel, and also in the cigar shape. And you can see that the cigar shape does give it a little more length. This is the Wing Sung 699. This is one of my Grail pens, the Pilot 823. This is another one of my Grail pens, which is the Delta Lex. And this is my recent acquisition, probably the nicest pen that I have in my collection, the Pelikan M1000. And you can see that the subject pen does have a nice size and a nice girth. So that's the pen comparison capped. So here are the pens uncapped, and you can see the two 630s there. Very nice. Look at that size of that nib. Obviously bigger than my 699, bigger than the Pilot 823. bigger than my Delta Fusion nib on this Delta Lex, and rivals that beautiful nib on my M1000. And in terms of length, very, very, very similar, I would say, almost equivalent. We're almost all equal here. So those are the pens, capped, uncapped, I should say, and unposted. Here are the pens. Posted, and it's a good poster. It certainly posts more comfortably than some other pens that we have and that we know of. Very nice poster. It's a little bit shorter than its sister 630 just because it is a flat top. But they all post very nicely. I would say to you that the best posters are my A23 and my comfortable Pelican. And my Delta is a screw-in posting mechanism, so that's guaranteed to post properly. There you have it. That's the comparison of the pens posted. We'll put up the measurement table, and we'll be right back with a writing sample. So we're back for the writing sample. First of all, let's take a look at the ink that we'll be using today is the Oxblood. What a beautiful ink is. My only regrets about this ink is that it took so long for me to order it. Again, it was Hemingway Jones, the YouTuber that you all must know of, who keeps using Oxblood. I think is one of his favorite inks. And I said, what is that Oxblood? So I ordered it, and my God, he was right. This is just a beautiful ink. So that pen is inked with this. As to the paper, and I know some of you may not like this paper. This is the Clairefontaine 90 GSM, and it's this French ruled paper. And I thought I'd do my review on that today. I know some of you believe that all these lines are a little bit confusing, but you know what? I like this paper, and it gets me writing properly. It's nice and smooth, and I figured we'd do something different other than always Tomoe River. So there you have it. Now, what I also plan to do is I've got 3 pens here. I mean, I want to be fair. I can't compare it to this Pelican because this Pelican is just in a different class, in my view. But I do have my Pilot 823 here, and I do have my Montblanc 149. So they're, two known Grail pens, if you will. And we'll do a comparison later on and see what kind of conclusions I can draw from the comparison. So let's first do a sample of this pen. So this is, although there's Jin Louis, I'm going to call it the Wing Sung. So this is the Wing Sung 630 demo flat top. Model. The nib is a Wing Sung number 8 steel fine nib, and I gotta tell you, it is just exquisite. The ink that I'm using is Dieman Oxblood, is it? Yeah, Oxblood. Had a mental cramp there. My hands feel like they're in cement this morning, but nonetheless, as you can see, I'm keeping at the cursive handwriting change, so that's become part of a permanent feature for me these days. Okay, so in terms of the nib, I gotta tell you folks, it is absolutely wet. It's very, very smooth. Doesn't skip a beat. This pen has been inked for almost a week without use, and it just it doesn't give up. It just follows very nicely. It's very constant in terms of fast writing. Again, doesn't miss one beat. Reverse writing, what do I get with reverse writing, even though it never liked reverse writing? You know what? You get a very, very, very extra fine line, which is continues to write. So very, very fine line, but doable. I cringe every time I do that, but nonetheless, it works. For those of you who ask, it works. So this pen, and this nib, I should say, is very wet. Very smooth. I don't even feel the slightest feedback. And very constant. Okay, in terms of likes and dislikes, I know it's a little bit of a deja vu, but the design on this pen for me is exhilarating. I just love it. Okay, build quality is also very good. I have not been able to find anything other than my one dislike, and I'll get to it in a second. So general build quality is very nice. The nib is just perfect. For me, it's a 10 on 10 for that nib. Gotta tell you, in terms of value, I'll put up the exact amount on the screen if I'm wrong, but I think it's about $42 Canadian, and that price varies from day to day. I know there's some deals and some specials. Is this a go-to pen? Absolutely. Absolutely, to the point where, as I've mentioned, I think I'm going to order more and put them, so I can use more than one color at the office. So 10 on 10 for a go-to. There you have it. In terms of dislikes, I have one dislike, and I don't know if it's just my pen, but I don't understand why the groove here is a little bit, it hesitates. It's not as smooth. Maybe I can do something to smoothen that out. I don't know. If you guys have any ideas, let me know. I don't like the idea of putting grease on it, but there's something that's not right. Maybe just out of use, it'll get better. Is it done purposely? I can't see why it would be. So I would say that just the thread there is nothing that would prevent me from using or liking this pen, but a little bit, it bothers me. Okay, so there you have it. Now, how does it compare to, for example, let me just, maybe we'll do this on the other page. How does it compare with my A23? This is my, let me just put in frame here. Okay. Pilot. Now, this is a broad, so it's much thicker, but I don't know if you can hear it. There's definite feedback on that pen. And as compared to this, there's no feedback. So this is smoother than my 823, folks. And that's a broad, okay? So I got to tell you, if I compare it to my 149, this is my Mont Blanc. This Mont Blanc feels like I'm almost, the nib is a medium, I think. It kind of, there's a lot of surface tension on that nib, I would tell you. I kind of have to push it along, whereas this Wing Sung has wings. Sorry for the pun. I gotta tell you, it just compares wonderfully. So anybody who asks me is there an alternative to some of your Grail pens? Now, this is kind of a combination between, a Sailor Pro Gear, maybe well, not really the Urushis but maybe the Urushi. Yeah, I guess you could say it does rival with that in terms of look. But I got to tell you, this Wing Sung, 10 on 10, man. Just 10 on 10. So there you have it. I like the comparison, and maybe I'm exaggerating, maybe I'm not. And look, these are, this is a, $300-400 pen, if not more. This is $1,000 pen. So longevity on these things is probably a lot longer than this. We haven't been able to test it. I've had my 149 for almost a year now, and if not more, and doesn't miss a beat. I have it in my, I've constantly inked, and it's never hard started on me. The same thing with the 823. Will this perform the same way? The outcome is only with time can we really judge. But there you have it. I just wanted to impress upon you that this is a very, very nice pen. And if you guys seen it and wondering whether or not it's worth the buy, I definitely recommend it. Allora, ragazzi, thank you very, very much for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this. Hope it's been instructive. I hope it's given you some thoughts. It's a revisited pen, but I thought it was worthwhile reviewing it. So, have a great day. Grazie molto. Arrivederci, amici. Grazie per l'attenzione e l'amore. Thank you for your attention and your love. Be good.